Well, thank you. Thank you to those of you who've joined us here in sunny San Francisco. Thanks to all of you that have joined us online. We typically get many, many thousands of people, and so you can almost convince yourself you're in the TV business with our live studio audience here today. So what are we here to talk about? Those of you that spend any time online, and I know you don't do much of that, you might have seen some of our teasers for this launch. It begins with a V and ends in an X. If you haven't figured it out yet, you probably should disconnect from the webcast right away because you're probably not going to understand much of what follows. Or there is a clue on this slide. You can follow the conversation here at #VSPEX. I know many of us are tweeting as we go through the event today. Please follow the conversation. I'm sure afterwards in our Wikibon Cube we'll pick up some of that conversation. But I'm not going to fully unveil it just yet. I'm going to tease you guys a little bit more over the next 15 minutes or so. All right, why are we here? This is a slide that we have used many times over the last couple of years. I think everybody in this room, and I would imagine by now most people online would acknowledge that the industry is in the midst of a shift towards cloud compute. And I think a couple of years ago, people were very much in this mode of, well, kind of what is it? And what is a public cloud? And why is that different to a private cloud? And won't the whole world go to a public cloud? And there was a lot of confusion and a lot of noise. And I think certainly over the last couple of years, a lot of that mist has cleared. Folks do believe now that cloud computing is going to happen, right? That's not in doubt. And certainly what we've seen from our customers and the response we hear from our partners is that it's not just a big company thing. It's also small and medium-sized companies as well. So we think this phenomenon is upon us. It is really happening, and it is a major transition in our industry. Now then, cloud. It's not just a computing model. We fundamentally believe that it represents an entirely new architecture for IT. If you look at the old world of IT, if you like, you had applications that were kind of inextricably linked to their infrastructure. The application owned the infrastructure. It was an incredibly inefficient way of running infrastructure. We think the new world, there's going to be a horizontal relayering of IT. We think the whole world is going to be virtualized pools of compute, of storage, of network. We can build new applications for this environment, but one of the great things here is you can kind of jack up those old applications and slide them over to this new infrastructure. Much more agile infrastructure, much more cost-efficient infrastructure. So we think the new world is virtual, and we think cloud computing therefore represents an entirely new architecture. We're so convinced that this is the way forward, we've really made it the singular vision of EMC. In fact, our mission is to lead our customers and our partners on this journey to hybrid cloud computing. Now, hybrid cloud, I mentioned a second ago, there's lots of debates over the last couple of years. Is everything going to be public cloud? Is everything going to be private cloud? The answer is it's going to be a little bit of both. What we see happening first, though, and this was confirmed in a recent Gartner Data Center Conference poll, is that most folks are going to build a private cloud first. They may well adopt public cloud technology later, and they may run a blend then, and that is the hybrid cloud, as I was talking about a second ago. But over the next couple of years, I mean, 2014 is not that long away. Over the next couple of years, 95% of the people asked at the most recent Gartner Data Center Conference said, hey, I'm probably going to build a private cloud. If not, I've built one already. So we think private cloud is where people are going to head first. Now, we don't think it's a time to say, hey, you should get going. You should start. You should begin your journey. We think that if folks haven't begun their journey already, they're late to the party because many, many companies are seeing the benefits of cloud computing today. And a lot of what we want to talk about today is accelerating the journey to the cloud. How can we help people go faster? Big companies, but also medium-sized companies, small companies. We've seen that big companies may take 3, 4, 5 years to get fully virtualized. We've seen that the smaller companies can take 90 days to get fully virtualized, and they can extract that value very, very quickly indeed. So, taking a step back, what are the options? If you're thinking, okay, cloud computing, I get it, I'm going to go build one. What are the options? Well, what most people do today is this. They're like, hey, private cloud, great idea, I think I'll go and build one. And they'll then, will go and grab a whole bunch of best-of-breed components and go at it. Hey, we've got a private cloud project, it's funded as a part of the IT budget, we'll throw a bunch of resources at it, and voila, at the end of the day, we're going to start building a private cloud, and we're going to start seeing some of the benefits. And look, at EMC, we as a company have done very, very well out of this phenomenon. I think this is where we've been over the last couple of years. We had our best year ever last year, with roughly twice the market share of our nearest competitor. Not only that, and this is what I think makes us best of breed, is we also took market share in our core market twice as fast as our nearest competitor. But the thing about the build your own strategy, it's incredibly flexible. You can do whatever you want. The challenge is, it's not that easy. Even if you're at a medium-sized company, and certainly if you're at a large enterprise or a service provider, this is probably not for the faint-hearted. There's a lot of work involved. And so we sat down at EMC, going back a couple of years, and thinking, well, look, we know that people are going to buy components and they're going to build their own for the next few years, but can we attack this simplicity problem? Can we produce something for larger organizations to make them able to accelerate this journey to cloud computing? And what we came up with is a V-block. We formed a joint venture with VMware and Cisco, and we created a V-block, which we call converged infrastructure. What is it? It's a single product. How do you make something simpler? You make one of them. There is nothing to assemble here. We have a single point of management. You can manage the entire environment as a single product, and we have a single point of support. So that was our solution, really by and large designed for the large enterprises and the service provider market. And when we came out with the V-block, everyone said, oh, it can't be done. Partnering, that's a silly idea. We used to do partnering many, many years ago in technology, but partnering's a really dumb idea these days because you just can't get multiple companies to work together. Well, what was also very interesting at a recent Gartner Data Center conference was they did a poll and said, well, hey, who would you consider to be the most competent to deliver on a fabric-based strategy? That's Gartner speak for converged infrastructure for your enterprise. And lo and behold, VCE came out on top in that poll against the guys that by and large were saying it couldn't be done. And being the marketing guy, I sometimes have liberty to make statistics, say whatever I want. I could quite easily add in the Cisco and the VMware numbers there and say, well, really, we're not at 23%, we're really at 49%. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. All right, so we're very pleased with what we've been doing with V-block, and it's not just about winning in polls, we're making money off it. We announced at our last earnings call that there was about an $800 million annualized run rate. Not bad when you consider it was zero less than 2 years ago. So you think, well, okay, great. We've got two great options here. You can build your own, that's really flexible, or you can go get the single product, single point of management V-block. Are we done? Can we just pack up and say, hey, thanks, we don't actually need that thing that begins with a V and ends with an X anyway. But we asked ourselves, well, no, wait a minute. Is there room for something in the middle here? In the same way as Apple managed to squeeze an iPad in between an iPhone and a Mac, we thought, hey, maybe there's an opportunity here to squeeze something in between the best-of-breed components that we've done for many, many years and the V-block. Particularly when you think about the smaller and medium-sized companies. The V-blocks are pretty chunky, right? I mean, they run, you're talking thousands and thousands, maybe even millions of virtual machines, tens of thousands of users. Companies that aren't that big, what is their easy on-ramp to the cloud? So we thought, well, maybe what we could do is take some of the simplicity of packaging that we figured out with the V-block and take some of the flexibility from the best-of-breed components and combine that with a value proposition around efficiency, because we know in the mid-market that that is a key driver. And that's where we would come up with something called VSPEX. So yes, you guessed it, the thing that begins with V and ends in an X is in fact a VSPEX. We're delighted to be able to announce this today. VSPEX, what's EMC's role in this? We prove things, right? So we run this componentry up in our labs. You'll hear Prasad talk about this a little bit later. We run it up with our labs, and we validate it. We don't necessarily write a book that looks like this. This looks very biblical. But we write a document, we write a specification, hence the name VSPEX, right? It's a specification. That's what we do. That's our value. We're proving the configuration. The real magic here, though, is really provided by our partners, because they take that specification and they turn it into actual offerings, real products, dare I say, that are going to be delivered out to our customers. And so behind me here, you might be wondering, hey, what's under here? Is it a teapot? Is it, I don't know, what is it? Well, what we've got here is our first line of VSPEX machines. The one thing I think is really, really cool about the EMC gear is it looks really cool. The industrial design, we tend to use at EMC the blue light on the VMAX and the VNX and Isolon, a lot of our traditional storage products. We've got the white light. We thought it was a very neutral color. What we're doing for the first time ever, though, is we're actually allowing our partners to leverage the EMC industrial design and the EMC brand. We want our partners here to be part of the EMC family, to look and feel like part of the EMC family. So this is a really big deal for us. You'll see underneath the VSPEX nameplate here, we actually have the brand of our partners. Up here you see our key distribution partners here in the United States. But this could be any partner's logo. I mean, our distribution partners deal with thousands of resellers on a daily basis. Could be their logo underneath here as well. Again, we want our partners to feel like they're part of the EMC family. They can be inside the data center of their customers, looking and feeling like a piece of EMC gear. We've never done this before. This is a really big deal for us. Okay, so it's not just distribution partners, though. We could not make the VSPEX program without assistance from our technology partners. And a number of our technology partners, look, this industry, the big companies at this point are so big and diverse that we always end up competing. At some point, you will find that any vendor on this screen will probably compete with any other vendor on the screen. But actually, what's important is that all of these vendors that are here today, and more that we'll work with in future, are in use in customer environments working together today. And so if we hold the customer up as the North Star, and we say, what does the customer want? They want us to work together, and they will decide. So it's really, really important to us with the VSPEX program that we make as an integral part of it an open platform and an open set of technology partners, and we really wanted to lead with the vendors that we feel are best of breed. We think we want VSPEX components to be the best components that folks can possibly get. So our technology partners, and we're going to hear from both our distribution and our technology partners a little bit later on, are playing a very, very integral role in this. So what have we got then? 3 paths to private cloud. We anticipate that for the foreseeable, people will still go and buy best-of-breed components. No doubt about it, right? Some companies have unique requirements. Some companies have just not gotten attuned to the fact that you can maybe buy something pre-integrated or pre-engineered, so they're going to go buy best-of-breed components. I think EMC and all of our partners that are in the room today are going to be there to service the customers that want to go that route. At the complete other extreme, we've had for a couple of years a V-block, pre-engineered, pre-integrated, really geared it towards the high-end customers, single product, single point of management. We think that VSPEX, though, can really provide a very, very easy on-ramp, particularly for the small and medium-sized customers, as they get used to this whole idea of what converged infrastructure is all about. And what we do believe, as you move to the right here, is that things get easier, that time to value for the customer is faster, and that total cost of ownership is lower. And these are things that resonate with most, if not all, customers that we mutually have together. So that is the top-level overview of what VSPEX is all about. What I want to do now is dive into a little bit more detail. You think, well, okay, what's behind the covers? Is this real? Did you just go copy it off a bunch of websites and write it down and call it a view? I mean, what's the meat? What's behind the scenes? And so I'm delighted to invite up onto stage now Prasad Rampali. Prasad runs our solutions organization. So he's the guy who has all the labs and all the rocket scientists behind the scene that make this thing real. So I want to ask Prasad to come on stage and tell us a little bit more about VSPEX. Prasad.
Great job. Thanks, Jeremy. So bringing VSPEX to life. Well, now that you heard the marketing guy speak about what VSPEX is, let me tell you what it really is. VSPEX, as we will know it here, really is in deep collaboration with a number of technical partners here. And it's been 6 months of hard work that has gone in to really realize the solutions that I'm going to talk about today. But before we dive into the specific VSPEX configurations, let's talk about what the VSPEX solution definition is. And as this header suggests right here, it's really about an EMC-proven infrastructure reference design for the data center. And it is a set of components on the stack on the left-hand side that really come together to realize our key objective of accelerating the private cloud adoption with best-of-breed technologies. And the key here is two things. Number one, it's EMC proven. We are backing the assertion that in the past 5 to 10 years, as we've deployed solutions in the enterprise, the large enterprise, we're going to take the same engineering methodology and the discipline and bring that to the channel. We're also asserting that this reference design is going to be interoperable. It's going to be integrated all the way up to the stack from your choice of server compute, networking, as well as hypervisors, and our core storage to leverage a set of applications that you want to run in your environment. And so the objective is to get to best of breed, and we've looked at key design principles that really drive the attribution that Jeremy spoke to, which is around simple, efficient, and flexible. And so as you look at each of these design pillars, the first one being simple, we've really targeted this notion of eliminating complexity. IT shops, as you well know, are complex because of the piece parts and the flexible choices that have gone into implementation over the years. And what we want to put together is a set of modular, reusable solution building blocks that essentially can be certified, and by which we will de-risk and future-proof your investments with VSPEX implementations that we are going to absolutely guarantee that in our roadmap, we'll provide an upgrade path for and a support path for. Number two, efficiency. We have two vectors here. First is all about agility. Now, we recognize that agility for you is all about time to solution. We think it's a quality of service differentiator for you. And by virtue of the pre-certification that we're going to do on these stacks, we're going to ensure that we bring a new normal on how fast we can assemble to order these solutions that are required by the varying needs of your customers. Number two, it's about cost. We are guaranteeing that with the deployment of VSPEX solutions, in the next 18 months of your deployment, you'll have a TCO reduction of greater than 50%. And we feel this is practical. We feel so because this is going to be based on x86 architecture, and we're going to be right in lockstep with the x86 roadmap and leverage for some of the best consolidated infrastructures out there in the industry in terms of VMs per core. In addition, last but not the least, the design pillar around flexibility. This is probably the biggest deal for us, and we spend a lot of time in this space. And for us, this means offering you the partner's choice. By all the disciplines that have gone into the enterprise around EMC proven, which I'll speak to in more detail, we're going to ensure that we can enable plug-and-play components on the left-hand side of the stack that just work when you build a solution. And by that, you'll have the optimization of your line cards. You'll run full potential of that capacity to meet any solution that your customer needs just in time. Secondly, we're going to guarantee that your customer can leverage their existing investments that can go into a VSPEX solution stack because of the openness of the architecture. And last but not the least, because of its openness, we're going to ensure that it's extensible. There are a number of third-party ISV management frameworks that we all know that you deploy in your environments. We're going to guarantee that they can be integrated on top of these stacks so that you can have the orchestration choice that you need that runs your environment. And so it's all about simple, efficient, and flexible, but underneath the hood, these design principles are really driving the engine that I'm going to describe and the specific solutions that we're going to deploy today. But none of this is really possible, as Jeremy said, without this rich partnership that's depicted on this slide with the ecosystem partners that are shown here. These are clearly the leading lights. We have 6 of them on this slide. And as you can see, they run the gamut of all elements of the stack, from the storage all the way to the application space. And the solution space is large. When you look at the combinatorials of what each of these partners offers, you can run into hundreds, if not thousands, of solutions that can be enabled based on the customer choice. And the key here is, again, interoperability and integration and certification that just plain works. And going down this list here, clearly Intel with their x86 core processor roadmap is the backbone of this stack. And we are working very closely with Intel on optimizing the stack to really benefit to the performance as well as the consolidation densities that I spoke to earlier. Citrix, I'm going to be announcing that they are going to be launching the Zen Desktop 5.6 VDI solution, and we've been working with them very closely over the past 3 months. VMware has been a close partner to us for a long time, both in the data center virtualization space as well as in the end user space. With Microsoft, we've been working with them on their fast track program for the Hyper-V cloud program. And we've developed a number of solutions with them that we're going to bring together into the VSPEX channel as well. With Cisco, I'm really proud to say that we worked very hard over the past 6 months, where we've taken our VSPEX designs and flowed them into CVDs in collaboration with them. And in reciprocity, we are taking their CVDs and tying it to our VSPEX reference architectures, thereby mutually maximizing flow-through between our channels. With Brocade, we've been working with them for a long time on network optimization, and we're going to take those optimizations around their Ethernet fabrics on VDX and ICX, as well as their HBAs on Fiber Channel and tied to the networking stack. And last but not the least, EMC. It's not just about our core storage. Over time, we're going to extend this to our entire product portfolio and enrich this stack. So large solution space, and it's going to work because of the discipline of interoperability and engineering that goes into it. So let me talk about what solutions we are launching today. Really, there are 2 key segments. As Jeremy said, it's all about the private cloud. And in this space, there are 2 key segments. One is the end-user computing space. And with the VMware View and the Citrix Zen Desktop solutions tied to the back-end stack, we are offering about 8 specific configurations. The VMware View 5.1 solution is going to be launched in August. The Citrix Zen Desktop 5.6 solution is going to be launched today. In addition, in the data center space, we have 6 different configurations of VMware Private Cloud as well as the Microsoft Private Cloud. And so when you add up all the configurations, it's about 14 configurations across these 4 solutions. And you might ask, how did we do this so quickly? And my answer to you is scale matters, right? We clearly couldn't have done it without these 6 partners. But we, EMC, are investing significantly in making sure that this kind of scale and its treadmill is going to continue going forward. And frankly, this is just the beginning. This is the rich set of collateral that's going to come out with the launch with these 14 specific configurations. And behind this is a ton of engineering work. We have about 600 engineers in the solution labs with about 9,000 years of experience. Some of these folks have spent years together working together on SQL, SharePoint, Exchange, Oracle, SAP. They know these applications inside out and the core infrastructure as well. And in as much as we've deployed these solutions in large enterprise, we're going to take that same insight and experience and bring that to the VSPEX channel. In addition to that, we have a set of labs that have been around. The most famous of these is the E-Lab. This is, as you well know, the industry's most comprehensive interoperability lab. We have invested $3 billion over the past 5-10 years. We have 650 cooperative support agreements today with over 15 years of experience, as well as 100 engineers working in this space. Clearly a lot of scale that we bring to the party. And we're going to take this E-Lab asset and essentially aim it at the channel as the certification hub, and frankly, reinvent the solution delivery mechanism to the channel. And we're going to extend this E-Lab with a set of VSPEX labs will essentially be, which essentially will be just-in-time operation integration capabilities that enable your needs of validation, best practices, and demonstration that are needed by end customers. And so this end-to-end capability with eLab as well as these VSPEX labs that, by the way, will be co-located with you as partners, will ensure that your customer can meet their needs for a given solution with our expertise as a collective, just in time, with the agility that is going to be lightning fast. And these VLabs are going to be enabled on a cloud model. We're going to ensure that they are 24/7 accessible. They are self-service enabled with on-demand live labs, which are continuously refreshed with our solutions and our demos. And last but not the least, support. We've thought hard about support. We've clearly been doing this for the past decade with our eLab environment and on the 650 customer support agreements. And we're going to essentially extend that with consistent processes that have been in place for the channel. And we are working with key partners to have them offer first-line support. And in cases where we don't have that first-line support, we are going to be the first-line support in triage mode with our partners. And so we're going to ensure that support is a key backbone for this whole implementation. So in summary, VSPEX is all about simple, efficient, and flexible. Our design objective is to provide EMC-proven infrastructure reference designs for the infrastructure. And we're going to turbocharge the private cloud journey with these solution stacks with the adoption of best-of-breed technologies from the technical partners as part of VSPEX. So with that, I'm going to bring on stage the guy who's actually going to sell all this stuff, Greg.
Great. Thank you, Prasad. First and foremost, thank you for taking time out of your agendas today to be with us. I can't tell you how excited I am. And just being next to the VSPEX here and seeing partners' logos tied to this awesome endeavor just brings tears to my eyes. So, so I'm a long-standing EMC employee working with the channel, and this is just music to my ears, and it should be for all of you as well. So go channel. Before I get into the VSPEX and how it translates into benefits to our partner community, I thought it'd be really beneficial to give you some insight as to how we did as a channel in 2011 and some of our key priorities moving into 2012. So with that being said, if you look at 2011, it was a record-breaking year for EMC and the channel. We exceeded all of our revenue objectives. We recruited 5,000 net new partners. I'm not sure, but we had, if you are aware of this, but we had a campaign to really build out our low end, and we're really excited about welcoming all these partners into the EMC family. 1,700 net new partners sold for the first time EMC solutions offerings. So really just a tremendous feat, and I thank the partners for their commitment to EMC. 30% increase in net new named accounts and 40% increase in technical certifications. So that makes me believe that the partners are really bought into what EMC is doing because they're making significant investments. As I mentioned, I've been with the company 15 years, now 10 in the channel, and it's been so exciting to see the channel transformation happen within EMC. And it all starts with Joe Tucci and the executive team. You got to have the leadership. And we have made significant investments in the past, and we're going to continue to make more investments moving into the future, naturally. But it's nice to see some of the recognition that all of us in this room deserve as we continue to work together to build out our program. So a lot of hard work's gone into this. We're getting recognized for having not only the top-notch offerings and solutions, but also with respect to our overall partnering program. In fact, we've won the ARC Award the last 5 years in a row for the best channel program as it pertains to the storage industry. So we're really excited about that. So outside of the industry recognition, we've also are starting to get a lot of awareness now with the analyst community. So you can read these quotes behind me, but once again, you know, our hard work and effort is paying off. Are we going to rest on our laurels? Absolutely not. All right, we are constantly going out, meeting with our partners to try to understand what we need to do to continue to enhance our overall program, and naturally, we're committed to doing the right things. So as we look into 2012, these are our top priorities. I'm not going to read them. You can read them behind me. But the key thing here is really to be succinct in how we go to market. And what I'm going to do for the next couple of minutes is I'm going to review some of the key initiatives and enhancements that we've made, that we're making or have made in 2012 as it pertains to these top priorities. So the first one, achieve the financial objectives. I can't tell you anything about Q1. We're in the quiet period. What I can tell you is we had a lot of momentum coming out of 2011 with our channel community, and we're looking to carry that forward into 2012. Our earnings announcement is next week, so please stay tuned for that. One EMC storage channel. So a lot of you know that we have been on an acquisition spree the last many years, and our whole goal is to be a lot more flexible and a lot more easier to do business with at EMC. So we have one common overall global strategy that's going to provide us a lot of leverage and scale, but this year into 2012, we've integrated both the Isolon and BRS channel organizations into core. So that's going to make it a lot easier to do business with EMC, and I believe it's going to accelerate our overall growth together. We're always looking to increase partner leverage and engagement. So this year we announced a new set of rules of engagement. These are our guiding principles that really determine the behavior that we want to have between our sales organization and our partner community. So we're very serious about getting as much leverage as we can from our partners, all right? And all of these rules of engagements now have been tied into the EMC sales comp plans. So there's wood behind the arrow. Our whole goal here is to capture as much opportunity as we can within the marketplace. To help the sales teams understand your capabilities, we've announced and we've put a lot of money into this and a big investment into a partner capabilities grid. So simply put, what this capabilities grid is all about, it's a search engine. So I'm an EMC sales rep. I have an opportunity in, let's say, Ohio. And it's SQL, could be SharePoint, might have some backup. I think it's going to be potentially a VNX, could be a VMAX. So I'm that sales rep. I plug into the search engine what my opportunity is at hand, and up comes a list of partners in that territory. I'm going to click on the partners, and there's going to have the resources that have those capabilities to go out there and address this opportunity. And the whole goal here is to bring these partners in early, our partner community in early, so that, one, they can establish themselves within the end user account, drive the deal on behalf of EMC, and then EMC naturally goes out and tries to find some additional opportunities. It's all about getting scale. So we're really trying to make it easy for our partners, okay, to be better understood by our sales organization, and our sales organization to better understand our partner community. We're always looking to enrich the partner experience. So myself now being in a global role, when I went to APJ and I met with the folks in Japan, I realized how important localization is to our success in APJ, in EMEA, and in Latin America. So big investments in our localization. All of our marketing collateral, all of our training, all of our certification documentation has all been localized for the P9 countries. Listening to all of you, our partner community, via our partner advisory boards and our councils, we've made some significant enhancements to our program starting into 2012. I know a lot of you are already aware of this because it's been communicated out. But bottom line here, improving ease of doing business, expanding profitability opportunities, and being more tightly aligned with the EMC sales organization. These are the enhancements that we've made going into 2012. Big investment in Salesforce. We created a PRM site for our partners to go to track and transact their business. All of our lead flow goes through PRM. So once again, a big investment into making sure that you have opportunities that we're bringing to you from an EMC perspective, and you can see exactly where you are from a compliance standpoint within the Velocity program. And then working with Jeremy and team, first ever GPS, we call it, the Global Partner Summit. We're going to have this. It's going to front-end EMC World on May the 20th. I'm really excited about this. All of our partners worldwide are going to come in. They're going to have a chance to network with one another, and they're going to hear naturally from the executive team on how important our relationships and our partner relationships are to EMC. So May 20th to 21st, EMC, at EMC World, we're going to front end it in Las Vegas. So the last priority, we're going to continue to take more share. So like I said, I've been in the channel for 10 years, and in the old days with the EMC, we really didn't develop products for The channel early on was more for, hey, we built a product, now direct sales organization, go out there and sell it. Oh, and by the way, partners help us sell it along with the direct sales organization. Now we're building solutions bottom up that really reflect what our partners need. So the first time ever in 2011, we introduced channel-only products, being the VNXE and the DD160. So why do we do this? One, there's a lot of opportunity. Two, we're really trying to foster tighter alignment between our sales teams and our partners so we can better understand one another. And this whole endeavor covers all segments within EMC, enterprise, mid-market, and SMB. So this product, okay, if an EMC sales team finds an opportunity, they need to work it with and through our channel relationships. So we're really excited about that, and speaking to a lot of the partners, naturally they're excited as well. So this ties in now to the first ever channel solution called VSPEX, as Jeremy and Prasad just went through. So we're really excited about this, and what VSPEX provides really is the framework for us to meet in the channel with our technology partners to drive best-of-breed solutions within the industry, all right, simply put. And the reason we did this was because of choice. So we heard it from you, our partner community, we heard it from our distributors. Guys, EMC, we need choice. I think Jeremy did a great job of laying out why we need to do this, but you, our partner community, are out there day in and day out trying to address and solve business challenges with your end user customers, and we want to provide you that flexibility. This provides you that flexibility, and it's going to open up a lot of opportunities moving forward, as I'm going to go through in the partner benefits right after this. But we're really excited about this, and once again, it shows that we listened and that the focus is on the channel. So I'm a partner. So why is it exciting to me? What does this mean to me? One, as I said, is channel only. That means more opportunities. Okay? Anytime an EMC sales team finds an opportunity that could be a VSPEC, you're going to be brought in. Same thing with our technology partners. So we think it's a broadening our reach within the partner community. We see it as a market expansion opportunity. V-Blocks have been tremendously successful, and they're going to continue to be tremendously successful. However, not every customer is in position right now to fully deploy a fully converged infrastructure. So hence, VSPEX, we believe it's going to really address the other opportunities that V-Block does not satisfy today. All of our partners, you might sell point products, but you position everything by selling solutions. So this aligns on how you go to market. All right? And when you sell solutions, you're solving customers' problems. So that makes you more relevant to that customer as that trusted advisor. So we think that's another benefit. Enhanced margins. Even though the recipe is being created, which is the reference architecture, there's still application deployment. There's still sizing that has to be done. There's implementation. So we believe it's going to be a margin enhancement. And then also EMC and some of the technology partners are providing additional incentives when a VSPEX is sold. So it's an opportunity to make some additional dollars as well. Prasad went through the faster sales cycles and deployment. Really, it's around reducing risk and taking cost out of our partner's model, since a lot of the pre-work has already been done. And then lastly, music to my ears and the tears in the eyes, is the whole co-branding. And I think this is something that is unique in the industry, and we're really excited about that. So how do we make it easy for our partner community to position and sell? One, we have the proven architectures, and really the bottom line there, that translates into a really good customer experience. We're providing you all the end-to-end collateral, as Prasad said, to make it easier for you to position the solutions. We have the lab, right, which you can use for demos or doing any type of testing and or development. The branding, we have EMC Easy Street. Okay, so VSPEX now is going to tie into the Easy Street campaign along IT transformation. And then lastly, we have our GFS organization, our finance organization, that's going to provide any type of financial support you need to procure the entire solution, not just the EMC portion of it. So GFS will work with you on that. So distribution is really going to be key to our overall success. With us today is Arrow, Avnet, Tech, and Ingram, and I want to thank them for being with us today. But if you look at all of our distribution relationships, and we couldn't put everybody on the screen today, they have all been trained, they're excited, We believe this is really going to be a game changer in the industry, provide a lot of flexibility because this is exactly what you wanted. And we are expecting a lot from distribution. They're going to be doing all the onboarding, doing the knowledge transfer, providing any pre-sales or technical support, integration services, and working with you to drive demand. So to sum it up, I'm excited, as you can tell. 2012 is the year of the channel. We've coined that within EMC. I think VSPEX really provides a lot of opportunities and really a market expansion for all of us here. So let's work together and let's really knock it out of the ballpark. Thank you very much for your time. Jeremy?
All right, welcome back. As if by magic, Greg disappeared, and we have a much better looking bunch of panelists on the stage than Greg. Just to sum up though, Prasad, I hope Prasad was able to articulate there just what is behind the scenes of VSPEX. There is a lot of people, I bet you didn't realize he had a herd of elephants in his lab working on this. We have many, many years of experience there, as was depicted by Prasad's slide, and you know, this didn't just happen overnight. And then, obviously, Greg been around EMC a while. I think jazzed to see the channel-only program, and I hope you could tell that this is a pretty meaningful investment from EMC. Not just kind of capital investment, but also people investment as well. Okay, shifting gears. You've all heard a lot from EMC over the past 40 minutes or so. I want to shift gears and now talk to our partners. You know, I said at the beginning of the show today that without our partners, there would be no VSPEX. And so I want to try and validate a lot of what EMC has said with a lot of what we may be hearing from our partners. So let me grab my seat. Nearest to me, we have Scott from Avnet. Welcome. We have Mike from Microsoft. We have Jason from Brocade, Cynthia from Citrix, and we have Don from Ingram Micro. So first off, I do want to talk a little bit about simplicity and efficiency and flexibility, but you know, you're closest to me, Scott. I mean, VSPEX. Give us. You're in the business of distribution. You've probably seen EMC from that vantage point for a while. Give us your 2 cents on VSPEX. What does it mean to Avnet?
Well, I'm going to start off by saying it's going to be tough to get me off stage because these chairs are a lot more than those chairs out there. So I might participate in both panels. You know, Avnet started down a path of solutions distribution about 5 years ago and really focusing on high growth vertical markets and pulling multi-vendor solutions together to help our partners solve end user problems. And I've been working with EMC for 12 years, and I'm excited too, Greg. And tears aren't going to come to my eyes, but I am excited.
You gonna hug Greg later?
We're gonna have a moment.
Have a moment.
Yeah. The fact that the technology partners all came together to bring out these proven infrastructures and just have made it so easy from a simplicity standpoint and an option standpoint for our reseller partners to sell a multi-vendor integrated solution to their end users. It's going to just absolutely improve the end user customer experience when integrating one of these boxes into their data center. So, you know, not to pull a Tim Tebow, and I think I counted Greg saying excited 5 times, but I am excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for the partners. I'm excited for the end user experience, and I just think that again, the simplicity and options that this brings to the partner community is fantastic.
Great, Don. Down the other end here. I mean, give us your perspective from Ingram.
I agree. I think that the journey to the channel, leveraging the channel, is so critical to the strategy, and how we execute as distributors to provide that simplicity is what it's all about. Without that execution, you know, we can fall short of our goals with this project, and it's been something we've been working on for 6 months, and it's really critical to our partners.
Do you think at times, hey, EMC, why didn't you do this sooner?
And technically, last year we had our Ingram Micro V bundles, and that was kind of the first phase of doing this. So it proved out that it's the right direction to go.
Okay, and I mean, obviously we've been hammering on the simplicity thing, and I mean, I really feel, you know, we deliver to you guys a specification. I mean, you guys really are instrumental in making that simplicity component happen. Why is that so important?
I mean, our partners do this for a living, so how we can help them, it's really about speeding up that sales cycle. How can we simplify the sales cycle is where we've really been focused. And we're going to do certification training with Ingram Micro Training Academy. We're going to do joint demand gen. We're going to do, you know, single SKU all the way to integration and delivery. So it's a lot of what we do, but it's just really packaging it up in a proven solution perspective.
I mean, Scott, simplicity. I mean, you're on the job of making it easier for your partners. You know, again, what are they coming to you with? Why is it so important to them?
Well, I think, you know, you get into the scale and scope of what distribution brings to the manufacturers and what we take to our reseller partners, and Don touched on a little bit. Being able to have the expertise and the knowledge around these complex solutions with multi-vendors, being able to do the demand generation, the partner enablement, some of the core things that distribution does. The fact that EMC and these trading partners have made it easier for us to take this solution to market from a simplicity standpoint, which is the buzzword. It's fantastic. It'll help accelerate everybody's success in the supply chain.
Okay, I want to shift gears a little bit now and talk to our technology brethren that we've got here. I mentioned earlier that, you know, cloud, I guess Gartner would say we've been through the kind of hype curve, and I guess then we head into like the trough of disillusionment, and then, I don't know, there's something of Valley of Enlightenment or something like that we must be in. I mentioned earlier that I thought cloud was kind of over the hump. That's the Burton hype cycle term, over the hump, and is really reaching mainstream. I mean, Cynthia, I wanted to ask you, I mean, cloud, what are you hearing from your customers? Was that the marketing guy gone nuts earlier, or I mean, do you see it as well?
Yep. No, really, when you look at the end user surveys of CIOs, the transformation that's happening at the desktop and enabling secure access of mobile users that are increasing to access their desktop applications and data, that's one of the top CIO challenges in every survey that is taken. And so we're seeing that translation now to wanting to manage that environment centrally. Perfect opportunity for private cloud. And that's one of the top workloads. We're finding the top 3 workloads on private clouds is desktop virtualization, which does address that ability to securely allow those mobile workers access regardless of the devices they bring, including their own. Many of them are bringing their own devices to the workforce, as we know.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, I wanted to ask you as well. I mean, Microsoft, you guys are in the private cloud business, the public cloud business. I mean, give us your perspective on cloud computing and where you guys feel it's at.
Thanks. Yes, definitely. We've seen over the last few years, as we've helped customers through virtualization moving toward private cloud, as well as end user computing, the complexity that you described earlier, where customers really want the benefits, but the ones that have made it through the gauntlet to be able to put together those solutions themselves, or the partners that have been able to do that for them, what they're desiring is a more simple approach, a more efficient approach. And so about 18 months ago, we came out with a program that we call Microsoft Private Cloud Fast Track, working with industry partners, and work very close with Prasad's team to come together and take Microsoft software, whether that be at the virtualization layer, at the management layer with System Center, but also the application layer, as described earlier. You know, SQL Server, Microsoft Exchange, and SharePoint are some of the applications that many of our partners and customers have really built their businesses around. And so looking at top to bottom to the stack, it's really all about the application. So how do we make that converged infrastructure easier to consume, easier to deploy? And so reference architectures are a great way. We were excited by what we saw coming from EMC with VSPEX, because it very closely aligns with our goals around fast track, around simplicity, but also offering flexibility for customers to choose aligns with the investments they've already made in their data center, but yet have the pre-configured, validated approach. And so we very much are excited to participate here, and I think that it will accelerate our customers' and partners' journey toward private cloud. So we're very excited by this.
Jason, Mike mentioned in his answer there, the efficiency word. I mean, we've tried initially, at least with VSPEX here, to really, kind of targeted at that mid-size company where we know efficiency is really important. I mean, Brocade as a technology provider and a part of VSPEX is going to deliver a chunk of that. I mean, tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing in the realm of efficiency and how it relates to kind of VSPEX and cloud computing.
Yeah, I think as Prasad mentioned, we're delivering the Ethernet fabric capability of the proven infrastructure, as well as the fiber channel storage connectivity for storage within the stack. And from an efficiency and simplicity point of view, one of the things that I think the VSPEX offering is going to bring to customers is a high level of automation, right? The ability to deploy these new stacks, speed the time to deployment of new applications, and really reduce their operating expense. So with our Ethernet fabric capability and our VDX switches as part of these stacks, the ability to automatically form the fabric that would connect multiple VSPEC units into an environment is something that can really, again, speed that time to deployment of new applications and reduce operating expense. There's literally no manual configuration that needs to be done of the Ethernet switching environment as you're connecting these VSPEX proven infrastructures together. On the fiber channel side, of course, we're bringing to the solution here, 15 years of very mature and proven technology. And when I think about what customers want out of a solution like this, especially in the mid-market, I think it's confidence. It's confidence that their data is always going to be available, that their applications are always going to be available. And by delivering in this stack, the technology that's running in 90% of Global 1000 data centers, I think customers will have that confidence in the reliability that fiber channel as a part of the solution brings.
And Cynthia, efficiency, I know, obviously running virtual desktops, you feel it's a big opportunity for yourself. That by definition is certainly going to make the job of managing the desktop a lot more efficient. But I mean, specifically, Citrix as a part of the VSPEX solution, I mean, what are you guys doing from an efficiency standpoint?
Well, just bringing the desktop into a centrally managed environment is a huge benefit for enterprises and mid-market and even small businesses to do. It really allows them to focus on their core business. And really with private cloud, that's what customers want. They want to get out of the business of building, and they want to become service brokers. So this allows them to work with channel partners, which is a perfect opportunity for these solutions and for these validated solutions with VSPEX to then approach a customer and bring that speed to how they can bring that all together for central management around the desktop.
And maybe to finish on here, and this is maybe a more broad-based question. I mean, the topic of converged infrastructure in general, or packaged infrastructure, it seems like increasingly, I mean, Mike, you mentioned earlier about your own Microsoft private cloud initiative, and Cisco we'll talk to in a second. Have got their CVD initiative. Why all of a sudden now do you think the industry as a whole is starting to gravitate towards more pre-packaged and ultimately, I guess, more converged infrastructure? And actually, I'm interested. Let me ask Scott first, because you guys again might be like, "Hey, we were onto this years ago, and you guys are now starting to figure it out." But I'm interested in a perspective from each of you.
Well, I think certainly the journey to the cloud has kind of brought a lot of complexity into the data center, and so. Again, simplifying it with a converged infrastructure and taking in a proven technology that will satisfy what an end user is looking for. I think that is really what is driving a lot of the different converged infrastructure solutions out there.
Okay. Anyone else got a viewpoint on why now? Cynthia, I know you.
I think converged infrastructure has its benefits, but as you had mentioned, you know, there's still customers who are hesitant for certain reasons, and that's really where VSPEX fits, because it's best of breed choice around the reference architectures. I think that's going to speed it up even more. And as I mentioned earlier, customers want to get out of the mode of being the integrator. They really want to buy things more in this kind of pre-validated solution, and the channel partner is the perfect place for this to come together.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think obviously the technology has enabled this capability, right? Virtualization in many forms has allowed us to decouple layers of the stack and to provide that kind of flexibility. I would echo her comments, and that is I think VSPEX is really a nice balance between the proven, certified, pre-validated, you know, stack that I think customers really want, but maintaining choice and giving them some flexibility in terms of componentry that they choose. So I think we're very optimistic, and this is very consistent with a philosophy that Brocade's had for many years around open virtual compute blocks and trying to foster this notion of choice and openness in building these converged infrastructures.
Okay, great. I mean, the upside and downside of having lots of partners involved is that we don't get long for everyone to, I could keep this going at least for another 15 minutes, but I do want to take a break right now and turn to our second panel. But first of all, let me just say thanks for joining us here today. I hope you out there have managed to see a little bit of insight from our partners on how they perceive VSPEX, and we'll be back with the second panel right after this break. All right. I won't ask whether you think this panel is a better looking bunch or more interesting bunch than the last, otherwise I really will get in trouble. But they're still obviously a lot better looking than Greg. So here's what I want to do with it. First of all, thank you for coming down. It's great to have you here today. Continuing on this theme, and again, similar to what I asked our last panel, I want to kick off and particularly ask our distribution partners, you know, hey, you've kind of seen VSPEX, you've seen the pitch. What do you think, and what does it sticks out for you? You know, why is this more interesting than perhaps anything we've done in the past?
I think what we see is a continuum, and we talked about this, and you talked about it in your opening presentation, the continuum of piece parts versus a completely converged, packaged, come on a single pallet. But what we find is that our partners see that, you know, they don't always see all the value in that. They understand the piece parts, but there's complexity with that. There's a lot of work that has to be done. And I think what VSPEX offers is that middle ground. The ability for them to actually do services, and they can choose which part of the service stack they want to do. And as a distributor, we can help backstop that. We can get them trained, we can get them the certifications they need, we can get all the things that they need. We might even be able to do staff augmentation for those services, but most of the money they're going to make is going to be through the services that they deliver to the end user. And that tying it together and making it simple for the customer to deploy, buy, operate, I think is where this thing really hits home. And I think that's a huge value for them.
Okay, Pete, before we go on, I know everybody can see the slide and who you guys are, but I just thought that's really rude. I didn't introduce any of you. So Pete, of course, is from Arrow. Wendy, we have from Cisco, one of our big partners. Jim from Intel. Brandon from VMware, and Rich from Tech Data. So I know you guys can read, but I just thought, you know, hey, that was rude. I should have introduced you. So Pete, thanks. I want to go to Rich at the down the other end. Give us your, I mean, VSPEX, you kind of heard the pitch, so to speak. What sticks in your mind as being interesting?
So, you know, when I look at the choice and the flexibility that the reseller has to be able to offer solutions to their customers, in many cases, we have in our Advanced Infrastructure Solutions group the ability to support them in all of the technology partners that are there. And some resellers are stronger in certain areas or certain vendor partners than others. And I think this really opens the market for them so that they can now offer solutions that are within the VSPEX platform and brings more market opportunity for all the vendor partners involved.
I want to turn to a couple of our technology brethren here, Wendy and Brandon in particular. I mean, obviously, Cisco and VMware, we know each other fairly well. We share kind of VCE in common. Flexibility is one of the tenets of VSPEX. Why is that important? I'm going to go to you first, Wendy. Flexibility, why is that important to Cisco? And then I'll head over to you, Brandon.
Well, thanks. And as we all know, EMC and Cisco have many, many customers in common, many mutual customers. And for Cisco, we have 3 core tenets: technology innovation, obviously, customer choice, hugely important, and a commitment to the channel. And really, VSPEX fits all 3 of those core tenets in terms of being able to offer that flexibility to both our customers and, frankly, to our channel as well, and then obviously integrating with Cisco validated designs and proven infrastructure technology innovation.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about Cisco validated designs and CVDs, because I know for the Cisco channel partners, that's kind of the that's the secret code word that it's been blessed by a higher power. I mean, you've obviously got your own program here, CVDs. We are going to take a lot of the VSPEX reference architectures and turn them into Cisco CVDs. I mean, tell us a little bit more about CVD and how successful that's been with your partners.
Well, I think it's been incredibly successful. Earlier, the panel was talking about reliability and confidence, and I think what CVDs do, Cisco Validated Designs, and in conjunction with proven reference architectures from EMC, is it gives both partners and customers confidence. Confidence that we've done the lab testing, confidence that the designs are rock solid, that frankly, the applications, which are so important in this environment, are going to run blazing fast. And there's a lot of opportunity for partners to take these designs and then build a lot of services capabilities, a lot of margin, and spending that time on application sizing and development.
Okay, Brendan, I mean, VMware, you kind of sit in the role of Switzerland often. I mean, flexibility must be your middle name.
Well, Switzerland's a good place. I don't have a tear in my eye, but I'm very happy to be here. But what I'd say is, fundamentally, the opportunity that VSPEX really offers both our channel, most importantly, is access to more customers. And if you really think about it, what we're here to do is to help our customers simplify their IT infrastructure. And the reality of VSPEX, through our partners, through our distribution partners, through our channel partners, through Cisco and the extended team, is we can really make it easier for those customers to figure out how do they want to move towards the public, the hybrid, or the private cloud. And again, with the CVD, with Cisco, with what we're doing with VSPEX, fundamentally we support customer choice, and we want to make it much easier for customers, regardless of size. Many smaller customers have technology challenges just like the big ones. They really need the help to figure out how to move simply at their own rate and pace to the private cloud. And I think that's where we really provide a lot of flexibility for them to do just that.
Jim, you're in the middle here. The one thing that we all have in common here is that we're really relying on Intel. You guys sit in certainly I speak for EMC, you sit slap bang in the middle of basically all of our entire product line at this point. Obviously had a little bit of success on the server as well. This world of virtualization, and certainly x86 virtualization, I mean, is kind of right up the strike zone. Do you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders? and also, I mean, what can we expect to see from Intel in the near future that is going to continue this cloud computing wave to kind of gather steam?
Sure. Yeah. First of all, we're humble, grateful, and proud that people are so willing to trust us and depend on us to be such a central part of the overall infrastructure. And hopefully, that's a result of our performance over the last 45 years or so in delivering on Moore's Law. We tend to, most of the people look at Moore's Law as sort of a natural law. We view it much more as a legislative law on us that Gordon handed down to us many years ago that we have to fulfill. So all our DNA is around turning around that, and I think people see over the last couple generations, particularly in the Xeon space, just massive improvements in performance and efficiency. We have line of sight out as far as we ever have on continuing that set of innovations. As the world moves much more towards converged infrastructure, we're seeing the needs around things like networking and storage and virtualization driving much more of the architectures and the platforms, and our partnerships with the other folks on this panel and others to really drive the technology forward is really a huge focus for us from an architectural direction going forward. Now let me tell you what we're depending on you all for, and why VSPEX and CVDs play into that. So every time we've seen the cost of computing drop dramatically, we see an enormous growth in the amount of new solutions coming to market, the innovation that happens, the new demand. Everybody's business grows as that innovation goes on. What we see with cloud, one of the reasons cloud is so important is it's part of dropping that cost. Now, what's now gating the growth of the overall industry is starting to become integration, management, complexity. We haven't used the security word here today, but security also is a critical component of this. And things like VSPEX and CVD start to drive that cost out of the equation, start to bring the overall complexity for users down, such that we can unlock that sort of demand that we all know is pent up out there as we make this cloud transition.
And I want to turn back to our distribution friends for a second. I mean, you obviously are in contact with a lot of partners on a daily basis. Cloud computing, you see the pull from your partners. Give us your sense of what you're hearing from them.
Yeah, clearly, Jeremy, we hear a lot of crosstalk about cloud. How does it apply to me? Are we talking about public? Are we talking about private? When our partners go in and talk to enterprise customers and the small and medium, they have some different ideas on how they might want to implement or how they want to deploy against it. But clearly, it's a topic of conversation that our specialized sales forces have on a daily basis with the customers. So there's no doubt that they understand this is the wave that's coming. They're not so sure how they want to deploy it or on what side, on the public or the private. And again, with our salespeople guiding them and the solution providers guiding the customer, that helps them make those decisions, and now that decision just became a whole lot easier.
Yeah, so you see that a great opportunity for the partner to provide advice at the point of sale.
Absolutely. And that advice, right, turns into consulting time, turns into helping them make those decisions. Now we have an infrastructure that we can build up against, right? And then we can start to apply the things that we as distributors do best in terms of optimizing their back office, helping them get their training, helping with financing and all the things they look for value out of. And we can surround all that with a program, right, around some of the key things that Jim talked about. Data center convergence, value-added services, mobility, security. Those are the kind of things that they want to know about. They want to know how they implement at a various customer sizes, and that's what we can actually help them with. So cloud is a big topic.
Great. Rich, what about
I'd
tech?
agree with Pete. We're hearing, cloud is on everybody's mind. I think the biggest challenge is the validation of a solution that really works, and then secondly, the flexibility. Because the end user community out there has various standards that they've decided to use in their business, and when I look at VSPEX, I see the ability for a reseller to go out with our sales team and understand a customer's needs and then apply a customized solution that really fits their needs. I like the fact that the co-branding is there, because now a solution provider can really go out and brand themselves in a practice that's going to help grow this entire business. And in addition to that, we can put really solid marketing and sales programs together that build upon that and help to drive the reality of the cloud, which is starting in private. I agree with that.
Actually, I was going to, the branding thing, just as you mention it, I mean, obviously, running marketing is something near and dear to my heart. Is the white light okay?
Looks great.
All right. Yeah. Brings a tear to my eye. He likes my white light. Okay, so let's. The final thing that I want to get to is back to packaged or converged infrastructure. I mean, I thought Jim, really interesting observation. There's almost an absolute need to head in this direction. in order to really get the value and the compute power that's now available. How long, I mean, we tend to get all excited in the technology business when something new comes along, and it always takes a little bit longer than we think. But, you know, over what period of time do you think folks move from best-of-breed components and assemble yourself, which is what most folks still tend to do today, you know, truly towards kind of, you know, packaged and then converged infrastructure? Is this a 10-year gig, or is it?
Yeah, it's absolutely 10 years. I mean, I think we view it as the next phase after, I don't quite remember the words you used, but client server, so the sort of distributed computing, first generation of distributed computing, and that's a 10 to 20 year cycle. That I think we started probably actually 5 years ago with the trend towards virtualization consolidation in the data center, but very much a 20-year trend.
Wendy, Brandon, again from Cisco or VMware perspective.
From our perspective, what really makes these take off is when they really facilitate speed to sale, to accelerating the sales cycle. So when you have good, strong reliability, it really reduces the time to install, provides those partners an opportunity to redeploy their highest paid resources in more of a consulting environment, more of the applications development environment. That's when we start to see the tipping point. So the confidence behind the architecture and the validated design, and then the speed to market and the ease of use are all key critical factors in accelerating.
I mean, just to echo a lot of this, there's a lot of momentum, obviously, in the industry as you see IT consumerization, bring your own device to work. Obviously, a lot of legacy applications need to be rewritten, but I think to drive that 10 years to happen sooner or happen more ratably, certainly making it simple with what the VSPEX is doing, it really helps the ecosystem understand how to deliver that solution to our end customers. And I do think every single customer is trying to figure out, how can I do more with less? How can I drive my top line and my bottom line? And ultimately, by automating and simplifying their IT infrastructure, they can spend more time working on their business and doing something else. And again, I think by making it simple, which is the ecosystem coming together with the sales forces of our extended partners, we can help drive that momentum, but it will take some time.
Okay, with that, what I'm going to do is thank you guys for coming down today. Really appreciate it. Wouldn't, as I said, VSPEX would not be possible without you participating, so thanks very much for your comments. Hopefully what you've heard is the EMC perspective on VSPEX, the simple, the efficient, the flexible. I hope you've also seen a partner perspective. You know, a lot of partners, both technology and distribution partners, involved in making VSPEX successful. And I think probably the thought to leave you on is, you know, really what we're trying to do. We believe the right way to accelerate folks' journey to cloud computing is to make things a heck of a lot easier than they have been in the past. And I think that's what VSPEX is designed to deliver. So thank you for coming down here in person. Thank you online for joining the show today. And if you would like to join the conversation, or you have a comment on VSPEX, then you can use the #VSPEX hashtag. We will be on air with Wikibarn, and so I would also direct you over to those guys, because I'm sure we'll pick up a lot of the comments from Twitter, and we'll have a number of people talking back there in the cube a little bit later. But thanks for joining us today. Thank you.
Code ciphers and code breakers have been around since the beginning of time. Julius Caesar used ciphers to communicate with his armies. Secret coded messages were brought as evidence of treachery in the trial against Mary, Queen of Scots. She lost her case and her head. The German military believed their World War II Enigma machine generated an unbreakable code, which was soon cracked and exploited by the Allies. But today's digital society poses even greater opportunities for code breakers, criminals, hackers, and nation-states who wish to shatter encrypted websites and systems to access, steal, and sometimes destroy what's inside. More than 21,000 people attended the most recent RSA Security Conference in San Francisco entitled, "The Great Cipher is Mightier Than the Sword," to learn from the best cryptographers and internet security experts what they can do to keep themselves and their businesses safe from attack.
EMC TV Live. We are coming to you from the Expo Hall at the RSA Conference in beautiful San Francisco.
Our industry has succeeded in making the internet, with all its weaknesses and idiosyncrasies, safe enough to transform the world. With increased speed, agility, and cunning, attackers are taking advantage of gaps in security resulting from the openness in today's hyper-connected infrastructures. We can ensure that the balance of control of our digital world remains in the hands of security practitioners. We can give them the tools they need to identify threats quickly and eradicate them. We can give our industry the structures it needs to share intelligence so that we can all be in this fight together, and that knowledge gained by any one of us can become power for all of us.
Throughout the whole floor, there's just an energy, there's games being played, there's fun, exciting things to see. So I'm going to take a step off of the RSA floor today and look around and see what else and what other fun things I can get into. Cheers.
Actually, I did the talk on firewalls. I think it was RSA 1 or RSA 2, and it was down in the basement of the Fairmont back when it was just this little bitty conference.
Time is up. Let's see the correct answer. Immediately shut the channel down. If you have any questions about what we covered here in the presentation, you can talk to AJ. He's over here. He's our advanced threat expert. And do discover your InfoSec alter ego on the other side of that wall.
You know, you got to wonder about these designations, though, because would you really want to go talk to someone who's a troll?
Courtney just did.
I know.
He seemed like a pretty nice guy, too. Yeah. Trolls get a bad name.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I apologize to all the trolls out there.
That's right.
I'm sure you're all lovely people.